Welcome to another episode of Life Career Roadmap. And today with my special guest, Jairo Ramirez. Welcome to the Life Career Roadmap, Jairo.
Hi, Sema. Thank you very much. I am so happy to be here, and thank you very much for the invitation.
Welcome, my pleasure. So, Jairo, let's start with first where you come from and your professional background. So, you can introduce yourself.
I'm Jairo Ramirez. I come from Colombia. From My hometown is a small city called Bucaramanga. In my background, I am metallurgical engineer, and right now I am working with DHP as principal asset improvement based in Brisbane.
Since Brisbane. So tell me something about your little town in Colombia. Which part of Colombia is located your little town?
Yeah, this is it's not little, but compared with that, yeah, we this is like 1.5 million
Okay, it's
people.
not little.
No, but compared with Colombia, yes, it's like the fifth biggest city in Colombia, because the population in Colombia is like 50 millions. So we are on the east. We are close to the border with Venezuela.
Okay.
Bucaramanga is I spent my uh, almost 24 years there until I finished my university, and then I moved to another city in Colombia to start my career.
Okay, so let's go back to your city then. So growing up, when was the first time that you had the idea to become an engineer? Was something that run in your family, you have a family of engineers, or someone told you that it would be the best option for you? Or have you seen someone doing? What triggered you to become interested in doing engineering?
Yeah, that's interesting, Sema, because from my family, I didn't have that, but since I was young, I was always interested to fix problems, not to make problems, to fix that. And I was good in the school. I was a good student. I was good in maths and chemist, and I start my secondary. I was in a technical school, so on that space, I start looking of okay, my career is an engineering career. Also, in Bucaramanga, my hometown, the Universidad Industrial de Santander is like really well recognized in engineering careers. So it was like a natural.
Pathway.
Yes, yes. It's like, okay, yeah, I would like to go on that way. And yeah, a couple of options that I have for when I went to the uni was chemical engineering and metallurgical engineering. And I can be honest right now, my first option was chemical engineering because I really like it. And the second option was metallurgical engineer. I couldn't get a spot in the in the
Oh, the
chemical
chemical.
because by points or how you have your state exam. And but I got a spot for metallurgical engineering. So it wasn't my first option, but then, yeah, I did my career and I love it. And that was good.
So, and did you work in your city, or when you finish, you would move to another city to be able to get into the workforce?
So in the metallurgical engineer, as a metallurgical engineer, you have two options to work, many options, but this is two main options. One is you go um, for the integrity on the with the oil and gas industry, or you go with the materials or minerals industry. So, and at this point, going to the as a process engineer. So since with the mining industry, since the beginning, I really like it, the mining industry. And in my city, we cannot say that it's a lot of mining in there. So it's more in the coast of Colombia where it is where we have more of the mine sites. At the beginning, I did my internship with a Canadian company that was doing an exploration in Santander, that is the state of my hometown. And after that internship, I start my career there with another internship with BHP that has had a mine site in the north of Colombia that is called Cerro Matoso.
Okay, very interesting, sir. And then in your childhood or teenager time, or even during your under degree, when was the first time, the little thought about exploring other lands or moving to different lands came to you? So when you were little, when you just knew about the world, or when you came to experience engineering as possibilities?
Yeah, that's curious as well because I'm coming from that middle class and family, and my whole studies were with the state schools and state university because my dad couldn't pay for a private one. And but I always had big dreams with that. So I can say that I never dreamed to live in another country different to Colombia. I am super Colombian. I love the my music, my folk, and all of this stuff from my country. Um, but I always wanted to travel and to travel a lot, and it was part of my dream since I was a teenager and when I was in the university. I always wanted to go out to study. At that point, was more in the USA. But then when I start with BHP, obviously BHP is from Australia, and I start looking up. Okay, that's great. That's a great option to go and work someday there. But with the thinking to come back at some point. But yeah, life changed, and yeah, right now I really love to live in Australia. Still being a great Colombian, a great dancer, but but loving living in this beautiful country. Yeah.
So, you are married. So, is your wife
Yeah.
Colombian or is your wife Australian?
Yeah, she is Colombian as well, and we came to this adventure together. Yeah.
Tell us more about your decision as a family to come to Australia. Did you have kids, or was just two of you two together coming here? How was the process?
So we were working together in Colombia.
Engineer
Um,
too.
in BHP, yes.
But is she
So
an engineer as well or not?
no, she's business administrator.
Okay.
So she came to a project. I was residential in the town is called Monte Libano, Cordoba. And after 3 years living there, she came to work in a project, in a particular project in the company. So we started our relationship, and it was good for us, and we were yeah, in a great and stable relationship. At that point of time, I was looking for something else. I was a little bit after 5 years, almost 6 years working in the company. I was looking, okay, it's time to move. I want something else. And I was looking to move, but at that point, I wasn't looking for something overseas. One of my best friends, he started the process to get the PR from Australia since he was in Colombia. And one day he just told me about it and showed me all the process, all the papers, and everything. I remember even that day when we start talking about it was with Son Aguardientes and looking about what he was looking for the future, and it was for me like, okay, maybe I can do it as well. with my experience in mining, um, I could apply as well for the PR. And I start reviewing the paperwork, everything, and I start looking as an option. I took the decision first. Our relationship was great, but I say, okay, I need to go, and I want her to come with me. So I say to myself, if I tell her to come with me and she say yes, I need to buy the ring because she's the one.
Wow, so many
So,
decisions at once.
but at the same time, it was a risk because I say if she say not, I have tough decision, but I need to go because I was really I was ready to go. So yeah, one day I just told her, look, I prepared everything. I was nervous, and I say, look, I have this idea. I have this plan. There is the options. There is everything. I explained pretty well. I am like a disciplined person and like organized. Try to be
All
organized,
the
and I
process in place.
yeah to tell her. And I told her, look, I want that you come with me, but so think about it and let me know. And it was like maybe 1 minute. She was just thinking, and she said, yeah, yeah, I'm going with you. So I say,
Oh.
but at least think about it. She
She said, no,
said,
you
no,
are the one.
I don't need to think it. I want to go with you. So yeah, definitely I knew at that point that I needed to buy a ring. So
You went and off and bought a ring and say, that's it. You are the one and you are coming along.
yeah. That was, and that's a true story. And yeah, that's so from that point, we start planning all together. And that was, I can say that, yeah, all maybe the success that we have with all this process has been because we are working as a team. And since that first point, we start working as a team. My English wasn't good. Um, and her English was really good. So she really helped me at the beginning. I have the attitude to go and to speak with the people, but at the beginning, I couldn't
Mhm.
maintain a conversation with someone. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, that was the how was the decision to come to here.
Wonderful. Sorry. And then you had the decision, all the preparation, and especially knowing that you were coming and coming with BHP, because did you apply to come through PHB, or did you ask to leave BHP and come as let's find something else?
Yeah, that was I couldn't apply at that point. Maybe my English wasn't good, so I wasn't prepared to do it. And at the same time, Sam, I wanted to study English, and I wanted like no break year. I think I wanted like the time to study. And after my university, I straight away I did my internship, then I start my graduate program, then I start working. So I never stopped since I graduated.
Mhm.
Um, and I say, okay, maybe it's time to do a gap year, to study, get the PR and everything. And at the beginning for us, it was a good plan. So I quit my job. And it was tough for my whole family because being in BHP, you are in a good company. And they pay much better and you have better benefits that most of the companies that are in the country. All the multinational companies offer that in Colombia. So my dad didn't believe that I wanted to
It was,
quit
what are you
everything.
doing?
What are you doing with your life? You are ruining your life. And but I took the decision, and yeah, we just quit our jobs. We sold everything we had there, and we came with two backpacks, and a head and full of dreams. So that was our beginning here. So yeah, obviously we had some savings, and we organized everything to come,
Mhm.
to be at least at the beginning with some support. But yeah, we came just as a students. So the first step we came as a students. We got the student visa for me to study English,
Mhm.
and I provide all the paperwork for to to have my career homologated.
Nice.
But I needed to pass the IELTS.
Yes.
So I needed to study first English. Yeah.
So the time when you came as an international student to study English, at that time, the partner visa or someone who is under your visa, uh, could they work full time, or is like nowadays that they can only work part time?
No, she couldn't. At the beginning, she couldn't work full time. It was part time as myself, yeah. Because that full time works when you are studying like, or at that time, I don't know right now, when you're studying like a master
Yes,
or a career.
yes.
But for a student visa for English course, yeah, it's just part time.
So, okay. So then you arrived and the dreams that you had, like having the honeymoon with Australia, you came straight to Perth or went to any other city?
No, so I came first to Brisbane.
Mhm.
That's why we love Brisbane, and we came back to Brisbane after being in Perth. So we came to Brisbane 10 years ago. And yeah, no, at the beginning, I think the first morning was a honeymoon, as every honeymoon.
Yeah.
And the plan for us was, yeah, being students. But then after maybe the third month, when you see, because the to have saving in Colombian pesos and spend in Australian dollars,
Wow,
you
wow.
see, you see how your savings are running out pretty quick. So we needed to start working, and I think we knew that at the beginning. Maybe the first 6 months were good. We were prepared for that. I was working as a cleaner, as a waiter, as yeah, any kind of job I did here. And the same time I was studying, and both of us were doing that as well. So at that point was that difficult situation to start, the challenges start, that stressful moments start. But in the whole, we cannot say that at some point we wanted to go back. So the whole, we always be happy here. So yeah.
Mm. So, and for you both, like how long took you to be able to reconnect with your career? You as an engineer and your wife as someone in business administrations. So your careers, what was the point for you? They start together, getting the jobs together, or one was first and the second one, and then wait a minute? And how was the situation for you guys?
Look, and that's maybe the best part of this story, and maybe what I am so passionate to mentor or help or support some newcomers to Australia. Because at that point, when we got the PR after 1 year studying English, I got, and 3 times trying to pass the dial test, I got it.
Oh,
So
good.
everything was right to get the PR. Then I got the PR once I put the IELTS test score that I needed. It took like 2 months because the rest of the paper were ready, or 3 months to came the PR. Once I got the PR, we already had here like 1 year and 2 or 3 months, something like that. Once I got the PR, I say, okay, I got the PR. I have the full right to work in Australia. Um, I have 6 years of experience with BHP, that is an Australian company. So, and I was always proud of my experience, and yeah, in my career, I say, yeah, it's gonna be the easiest part of the of the journey. It
Yeah.
wasn't. I think it was the tough part, because when at that point, at that year, the mining industry have a crash in prices of the commodities, and it was a lot of metallurgical engineers, mining engineers on the market. So looking, I was competing with local people at that point, and starting with, first of all, my resumes, and trying. We say definitely, we say that because it's mining, my maybe it's gonna be easier for me to find a job. But my wife, at the same time, we started on the same way. She started looking for a job for her as well, and because she got a better English level at some point. So I passed the IELTS test, but it doesn't mean that you are bilingual and you can speak
Communicate.
fluently. So I had more attitude that better.
The
uh,
communication, like you could communicate with others about yourself.
yeah, but yeah, it was pretty tough. And then I start getting, after I improve my resume, reading, looking, changing every time, I start getting more attention. And at some point, we look for help. Okay, must be a mentor or professional coach that can help me with that. And it wasn't any program, Sema. It wasn't anything from the government at that point. I was looking a lot, and my wife is pretty good looking at anything in internet. So, but we found someone that we in Melbourne that we pay for that service, and yeah, the company said help me to improve my resume, my cover letter, and yes, definitely the attention. We start getting attention. I start getting attention on my resumes, and I start then with the challenge of the first interview in English. So um, I prepare myself a lot. I wrote all the questions and answers. I prepared, I practice. But yeah, I was most of the time was unsuccessful at some point. At some point, I was the candidate that got the role, and they invite me to a small town that is called Mount Isa. They pay tickets for us, for Anna and myself, to go and recognize the place and everything. We say, yeah, it's an isolated town, but let's do it as a entry level in the mining industry. And then HR just canceled the the role. So it was a lot of frustration. And at the same time, we need money, so I keep doing my cleaning stuff and my waiter stuff, and I keep working in the other uh, jobs that I have. So we asked, okay, what we can do, and the company helped us say, okay, you can be an intern. Say no, but why an intern? See, I have 6 years of experience. Why I need to be an intern right now? I don't want to. So, but yeah, that's the option because you need experience in Australia. And I say, okay, you need to pay to have an intern. I say, no way, and you are not going to be paid. I say,
Oh,
okay. So it was a family decision, and my wife got in the same time she got a job, the first professional job here.
in her field.
She got it as a coordinator of students company, and she said, "Yeah, I can support the family. Let's do it, and you go for your intern and not pay." And I do. I was in an internship role. I got an internship with a coal company in Queensland,
Mm.
doing FIFO. The only thing that they paid for me was all the flights and accommodation, but no money at all. So yeah, that was, and I keep going with that. Uh, it was a little bit frustrated, being a person with 6 years of experience and start as an intern in another country. However, I can reflect, and it was good for me. I think I learned the language. It was Central Queensland. I really learned how the Queenslanders and the
Speak.
Australians talk, and I start understanding how is the way of the Australians work, how the mining industry in Australia works, and it helps to me a lot. However, I was with a huge frustration because I was looking at things that uh, definitely I could do more. At some point, at the beginning, since the first month, my supervisor, my boss, realized that why are you an intern with that experience? I say, because I couldn't find a job. So they said, okay, let's try to do something. Um, so I got more responsibilities in there, but he couldn't change my contract because it was like a fixed contract for some period and with no cost. But I could get, I say, yes, if I'm coming here, you cannot change the contract, that's all right. But change my responsibilities. I want to do, uh, yeah, have more responsibility because I know how to do it. So yeah, that was my first experience as a process engineer. And after 3 months working there, I updated everything in LinkedIn, and I was contacted by LinkedIn. And I received the first call of the hiring manager at that point. And Jairo, I'm interested in you. You apply for that role, and we want to offer you a process engineer role in another company in the Northern Territory. Even it break my voice
Oh,
because I remember that call, and yeah, that simply changed our life here. And I remember the time of that frustration and all of these tough moments we passed. So after that call, I feel I feel like I don't know if you have watched the movie Pursuing the Happiness. That is by Will Smith. I feel like the call that Will Smith received
yeah.
because it was like that. So yeah, and
And so just a minute, I want to ask you something before you go ahead, because it's a very emotional point here. Um, at the time when you received that call that you said, oh, finally, it's happening. Did the voice of your father was there with you? Say, say, hey, daddy, now I know that I have done the right thing.
definitely. It was the voice of my father. And yeah, and just remember me that, yeah, I knew that at some point it will come. And I never give up. I never gave up. I think I passed through difficult situations. Um, and but once that call means everything. That first job, and that's what I maybe say to a lot of the people that I provide coaching or mentoring, the newcomers that come in here, is you can have 100 no's. You just need one yes. So don't care about the 1,000 or 100 no's you have. You just need one yes. Once you start your career here, once you have your first work here, you will demonstrate everything that you have, and the doors are open for you to succeed in this country. So yeah.
And you, because Anna now was working in her field, had a job, and you got this offer to go to the Northern Territory. So how was the arrangement for you as a family at that point?
Yeah, it was a fight for all. It was South 32. Gemco. Gemco is the name of the mine site, and it's in the Northern Territory. It was a fight for all. So I needed to fly from Brisbane to Cairns to Groot Island. That is a small island in the Northern Territory where the mine site is, and it was 4-3 roster. So I flew every Tuesday and came back every Friday. It was a lot of flights, and at the beginning was tough, but look, it was my first job.
Yes.
So yeah, for us was even we were thinking to move to Cairns, and we went to Cairns and spent like a couple of weeks there in holidays as well, but looking for houses and looking for the city. And we were ready to move. And Anna, my wife, just told me, okay, right now I have a better job. We can move, and I can find something in Cairns. So, but it was after almost a year, and I received a call from BHP, and
Mm.
hey, Jairo, you have applied for this. We were ready to move to Cairns, and you apply for one role, like, I don't know, 4 months ago. We are interested in have an interview with you. I say, look, it must happen as quick, because we were ready to move to Cairns, and if we move to Cairns, maybe, yeah, we will. I will continue with the other role. The interview was pretty quick. Everything, all the process was quick, and it was the role in Perth. So we moved, and I got the role. Better role. I came back to BHP.
About Daddy.
And
Now.
yeah, yeah. and and I moved to Perth. They moved us to Perth, and I started a 5-4 role there as well, in one of the iron ore sites that is called Jimblebar. And yeah, so that was like at that point it was like, okay, this is coming in. So everything, as I say, then when I put my example, once you start your career here and you start demonstrating you are doing a good work and you work hard for that, all the opens start, all the doors start opening for you, and you can go up the level that you want to go, and everything you can see that all the time everything is improving your career and your conditions as well. So at that time, that role for me, the role that I had in the Northern Territory was good, but this one was much better, with a company that I love, BHP, and with a company that I had been working in, with all the opportunities that and benefits that this come to you. So yeah.
A good point that you touched around, because before you go ahead with the first experience, talking about the first job that you got as an intern in your field, because working with newcomers, what I hear a lot is, I just need a chance for the first job, right? So you applied for the many jobs and you had the no's, and you mentioned that was the best option for you to get the intern, so you could learn more things that you didn't know, because you had the technical experience but not the Australian experience. So, and what I say to many people, I say, look, sometimes the job that you want is not there for you right now, because you may get the job but you are not ready for that job. You go into a culture that you don't know anything, a system that you don't know anything, and if you want that position that is a manager or coordinator or anything, or principal, you may not know how to deal with situations in Australia, right? So can you tell me more about if you agree or not with that kind of way of thinking about the first job in Australia?
Definitely, Sema. Even my little brother and little sister are here, and when they came here after me, it was one of the things that I recommend to them. And I really recommend to, if you come, obviously, if you come to Australia and you can get the role that you want to with the experience that you're coming, that's great. That's awesome if you can get it. But if at the beginning you see that it's a challenge or a roadblock in that, it's because we don't know the culture. We don't know. We still have challenges with the language. We still have challenges with how understand the way of working here. And I can be no more agree that you say that is a learning piece, and always for me it was obviously at the when I started and doing stuff that I was doing when I was intern, it's like, I need to do that again, and it wasn't good for me. But I asked for more, and what I have learned from Australians culture, for Australia culture, is that you need to let the people know what you want to, and if you let them know what you want to, yeah, they can maybe help you to do it. You don't need to expect that the people come to you and offer you what they want to. So I went as an intern, but I told them, look, I want more responsibilities. Don't pay more money for me, but I want to learn. So it's always been willing to learn, being willing to that from every experience that I had been facing in Australia, I have been learning. Even when I was cleaner, I think I never clean too much as I have been cleaning in Australia. And right now I am great cleaning my house. My wife maybe says the contrary, but
In your perspective, like your perspective, you know
but
how
she's
to,
in
right?
the interview, so I can say that.
So coming,
So
yes, yes, continue, yes.
so definitely, yes. I think that first step is pretty important, and I appreciate that. And I am my supervisor, my first boss, the person that was my supervisor when I was intern. He is a great friend of me right now, and he was the person that gave me the first references to the company when they hired me. He was more happy than me when I got the first role. And he told me the only way that I can pay to you, because I couldn't pay with money, is giving you the best references that I can, because you have been doing a great job here. And I know how the sacrifices you are doing for that. So definitely, yes, that process to learn and to be open to learn is important. And yeah, and as you say, then after you get more confidence, because it coming to I was too confident in Colombia, talking about my career, talking about the technical stuff that I know. But here, I at the beginning I was, I think the people say, Jairo is kind of shy. I'm not shy. But at the beginning, I wasn't confident to speak in the language,
Yeah,
and I wasn't confident to have a discussion. I wasn't confident to put my point and say, no, this is not right. Let's do it that way, or let's think in another way. Right now, I'm confident to do it. And my English is not perfect. And maybe people that are hearing that say, yeah, this guy doesn't speak pretty
yeah.
good.
No, it's not the
But
point.
but I feel confident with my way of communication, and this is everything that you need. And this is also another thing that I tell to the people, that the newcomers, look, the time that you break the barrier of the English is when you start. Obviously, you always want to improve, but when you leave the that challenge that we as people with second language have, to say, oh, no, I need to speak perfect, my pronunciation needs to be perfect. Just try to pass the right message in the right way, and you start getting more fluent with the time.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Because the confidence in the language is not you being speaking everything perfectly, but you sending the message that you
Yeah.
want to send, and the person understands what you want to say. So sometimes, even if for broken language or English, we can send the message, but when
Yeah.
you know how to send this message, right? So if you don't know, and normally what I see with my newcomers when I ask them to introduce themselves. They just introduce themselves as a job title, but they have more than job titles. They have experience, they have knowledge, they have skills. But as I say, them, you kill yourself and you just label yourself in a job title, because people have preconcepts of things. But you may have a different knowledge that a mechanical engineer, a metallurgical engineer has. You may have done things differently, and especially coming where you come from. And it's the beauty of you being able to say things that are not just inside of the box just to conform, but being able and courageous to be yourself and explain things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the other thing now is Perth. So you came to Perth, you two came, so you got the job. And how was about your wife? How was for her?
So she was still in the same company as a students coordinator, and she just said, yeah, my husband just got a good job in Perth. We are going to move to Perth, and I cannot continue working with you guys. And they told her, no, we have an office and a small office in Perth, so you can continue with us. So that was great. And we both moved to pair with job, with our jobs. And then but she wanted to move and to change. She was working in BHP before. I started doing my mentoring and coaching
Uh-huh.
on her, and start supporting her to apply in. You go to Perth, and when you arrive to Perth, you say, okay, this is a mining city.
Mhm.
And when you see the big mining companies in there in the city, so I say, let's start, if this is what you want to, let's start doing applying on it. She started applying, she started on the process with frustrations, preparing to sell herself as well, and she applied for one role after maybe, yeah, 6 months or more, 1 year applying for roles. She got, yeah, it was 1 year, yeah, applying for roles. She got a role with BHP. It
Mhm.
was at the beginning a fixed term contract, 6 months, just to cover a leave of a person. And after, she was in a role that wasn't the role that she would love to have, but it was the entry level role. And she got that entry level role. And after that point to now, she already have 4 years working in BHP. She
Mhm.
has been moving to four roles, and right now she is in a role that she is happy with. Looking as well, always we are like motivated people and like the challenges, and she's always looking, okay, what is my next step? But my point is, she started the entry level, a role that maybe wasn't the dream job for her, but she used that to the same, to learn, to enter to the company, and then she started growing there. So right now she's working with BHP as well. And the reason why we moved back to Brisbane this time was because of her.
Oh,
She got a role in Brisbane with the company, and I could continue with my role that I was doing in Perth. I could continue with my role in Brisbane, and we wanted to move to Brisbane. And yeah, the company just moved us, and that's the reason why. This time was for me to support her to come here. So yeah,
amazing. So you supporting each other and helping each other, cheering each other as well.
yeah,
So
yeah,
but I know a little one came to the scene.
yeah, yeah.
So tell
Very,
us about the process of becoming a parent in Australia, because coming from South America or for any country, have the support of the family. And being here by ourselves and with the little nuclear family, or starting a nuclear family as adding a little baby to the numbers. So tell us this experience for you guys. How was this decision? Was something that you planned or came as we are ready? And how was the process? Because I know you made the decision to
yes,
to be at home looking after your baby.
yes, yes. So yeah, the best. He is from Perth. He is a Perth guy. um, After 3 years being in the company, in BHP doing FIFO, we start looking for family. And one of the changes that I needed to do was to move to a role in the city. So, and it was even weird for me because most of my experience at that point was being on site, on the mine sites. So I started looking to move to a role, internal role in the city, and I got it. And the main reason was because, yeah, we wanted to have family. The first decision is, if we wanted to have family in Australia, as you say, that we don't have support from anyone else here, so we both need to be in the city. I cannot do FIFO anymore. So then, yeah, Matthias came. He is 3 years old now, and we have great team. There is a lot of companies that have that right now in Australia, but BHP had a good parental leave program. So she could get 4 months, but she split that like a half pay. So she got in total like 10 months half pay with the company. And then after she came back to work, because I'm gonna be the main carer, I can have another 4 months for myself. So I got my 4 months of parental leave, and I was with Matthias, but it was after she came to she came back to work. Then before he was 2 years old, maybe he was like 1 year and a half, I got my parental leave, and I stayed at home for almost 5 months. And at that time was the time when we moved to Brisbane. So I was the one that was looking for homes, looking for everything in here. I was with Matthias everywhere, and looking for the childcare. So I was the one that do the visits and then pass the report to my supervisor, that is my wife, and she said, "No, I don't know tomorrow I'm going to do another inspection." So yeah, that's great. So experience being parent in Australia. Good thing we didn't have the experience to being parents in Colombia, so we don't know we don't have a baseline to compare. For us, being parent is in Australia. So, but we know that if we were in Colombia, we have someone that maybe help us cleaning or doing stuff at home. In here, you have to be parent, you have to cook everything, and at the same time you have to clean 100 times a day because they are you
Yes,
need
never
to clean
ends.
everything. Yeah. So it's tough, but we need to work. That's why we need to work as a team and being on that collaboration. Um, what is the good part of? So we are tired, obviously, doing that because we both work full time. But the good thing is that we can work some days from home. He is right now 4 days in the childcare, but I think we feel when we went back to Colombia, we feel that we have a great connection with our son because in here we don't have anyone else helping us. It's him with our, so he is too independent for his age because he needs to be independent because he doesn't have all of this help that maybe can have in another time. We had our mom and my mother-in-law sometime spending some time with us, and obviously we have seen the differences from that. But yeah, it's amazing. Obviously you are tired, you don't have too much time, but the experience to be too close to them and pretty engaged is yeah, it's great.
It's amazing, right? Yeah. And are you planning to extend the family or that's it for a
Yes,
while?
this is our plan. So yeah, we already have that in our 2 year plan. So let's see what happens. So we need to do some work.
Yes. So, Jairo, it's a wonderful experience that you have shared with us and all the downtimes and believing that would be possible and almost giving like thinking that, oh my goodness, I have been doing with my life. I would like to ask you if you had to give an advice or suggestion to someone who is outside of Australia, wanting to come to Australia, and they don't know how to start or where to start or who they need to talk to because someone brought this idea to you and you saw with a different light in front of you. So, what would you give as an advice to someone who has the intention of moving abroad and coming to Australia?
Yeah, good question. So definitely, um, first advice that I can say is have a plan, and write down and do a pretty good homework on a plan or what is the start. There is a lot of information right now. Go to the Australian government portals and get all that information. Contact companies that maybe can help them from here in Australia or from over there, but don't bring all the dreams, all the savings to one person that maybe talk the first. Talk with many people. Try to investigate. Spend some time looking on the internet. Having that, ask to some people that they know here, or maybe if they don't know, try to look on internet or try to find on the website this all information about Australia. Don't get just the idea from one person. But first of all, yeah, with all of this information, do a plan. Check, for example, if your career is you are able to homologate your career here. What is the best way to do it? You can you maybe start doing it from your country, because I start doing that from my country and it runs pretty well. So you don't need to be here to start doing that work. Secondly, once you are in Australia and you realize, if you don't know yet, if you realize that you want to stay in Australia, don't waste time, and you already have a career, don't waste time doing courses that won't add any value on you. You need to, okay, if I want to stay here, I'm not going to stay for another 6 months or for another 6 months or for another 6 months. And after 2 years, you don't know, maybe your language is not the best, and what experience you have is not the best. If you know that, okay, my next step is, if I do a master, instead of do 4 years or 3 years of small courses, maybe I can do a master. Or maybe I don't need a master. I can do internship, for example. Or maybe try to find as well. Right now, there are programs that can coach them. Definitely, 13 is have a mentor or a coach or a friend or someone that can guide you in that, a person that can know and give you some experiences. I have a mentor. I think everybody in any stage of our life, we need a mentor to the next step that we want to do.
That's right.
And at this point, I want to be in another step in my career, and I have a mentor, and I have communication with him about, okay, what I need to do to be there. So, and finally, and maybe the best thing that I can recommend is never give up. If this is your dream, keep doing. Keep believing yourself. Check it out. That days that you have that are terrible, that days that you feel that are the worst days in the life, some people have been facing that. And check it out. Check it out. And remember the thing that I always say to my mentees as well, and people that I'm coaching sometimes. You just need one yes. Once you have that yes, I can be sure that your life here and your career start changing.
Yes, wonderful. So now I would like to ask you something, because we all, as a newcomer, we have that kind of experience that now we can laugh about, but before was a terrible thing. So
Yeah.
at any point in your life that as a newcomer, you and your wife went through something that was so horrible that point, but when you look back, you laugh at it because you say, oh my goodness, how come? Could you share something with us?
Many things. I can share maybe a couple. One is, and we remember that one when we started our first work here was doing cleaning the QUT. Is the Queensland University, and it was close to the home where we were looking. But we just have money to buy one bike, and we both got the job in there, and it was to cleaning the university at, it was 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. So, and we didn't have more money, so at that point, so we say, okay, we buy one bike, and I can bring you, like, I don't know, in the old towns
In the
in
front of me, and then I was,
yeah. So I ride my wife from our house, that it was riding the bike maybe 30 minutes, 20 minutes from our house to the university like 2 weeks until we got paid and we had money to buy our another bike
Another bike.
for
Wow.
her. That days she was crying because and I asked her, why did you cry? I was so frustrated as well. And she said, yeah, because it hurt me. And I say, but I am the one that I'm doing the major effort. Right now we love, but at that point was tough because we didn't have more money at the time to buy another bike. We remember the pain in our legs at the time. It was crazy, and yeah. But right now we just love, and we remember the small apartment where we were living at the beginning. And sometimes we pass in front of the apartment when we were living in Brisbane right now, and we cannot avoid that our eyes get wet because
Nostalgia.
we have a lot of memories, but it's great memories. I think they are great memories, but as you say, we just love right now, but we sometimes remember that frustration and was terrible. And maybe a personal one was giving doing my first interviews. One day, a HR doing the first screen, a HR person just called me and start asking me questions. And at some point, I didn't understand anything, and I just turned off the
The phone
the
because you couldn't.
and I say, okay, Jairo, calm down. Okay, I can do it. I can do it again. And I turn back the call and say, hey, sorry, I don't know what happened, but can we keep talking? And she said, yeah, okay, but is everything all right? Yeah, everything was all right. But I was too scared, and at that point I did that. And right now, I did a lot of mistakes in my first interviews, but this is
Yes,
one
me too.
of the things that I can remember right now. I have also a friend that, and look, this is what we're talking, that we have a lot of people that have facing that. I have a friend that we were discussing about the same kind of things, and he just told me, Jairo, when I was having interviews, I apply a lot of roles. And one day, one person called me and just asked me my name, and I had all in my mind what I needed to do, what I needed to say
It's like,
for when someone called me for an interview. And I start talking about my career, my experience, everything, how many years of experience I have, everything I have. And then when I finish, um, she said, uh, you are great. And if I can, I could hire you. However, I'm calling you because I'm selling you an insurance. So that's kind of stories you always can find. And yeah, with the language, with the culture. But maybe, yeah, right now is just a story and a great story to talk about. And this is another thing that I always tell the people is this is a journey. And if you work and keep working on that and keep pushing on it, at some point you will be laughing on it, and will be great times for you when you remember everything that you did before.
yes, and you is this the feeling of achievement too, right? What you went through helped you to be who you are, and the great
Yeah.
experience. So another question as well is regarding your name, because your wife has a common name, Ana, but Jairo is a common name in South America and even in Brazil. We have the pronunciation a bit different. So at any point, your name became a little problem for you? You thought about changing because many newcomers they change their names to be able to be accepted. So did you face anything like that?
Yeah, Sema, that's a great question, and because I suffered that at the beginning. So when I hired that company to help me with the professional coaching, they recommend me to change my name because they told me straight away, Jairo is your name. Um, doesn't seem like Australian, or they know that you have a second language, and maybe Are you maybe open to change your name for, and they they ask
Suggested.
me for James or something
Oh,
like that. I say, no, I don't look like a James.
I'm not James.
So yeah, no, definitely it came to the possibilities, and I say no, definitely no. I am happy with my name, and I'm not going to change that. And if I need to face this situation, I will do it. So definitely at the beginning it was is Jairo, is Jairo. A lot of people here call me Jairo, so for me it's okay. But I use right now that situation as an icebreaker. And it's a perfect icebreaker. When I want to start a conversation, the people, sorry, how can I pronounce your name? And I say, okay, this is the point. Yeah, my name is in Spanish, so the J sound like H, so it's Jairo. And they start to, oh, Jairo, yes, Jairo, you are right. So I use that right now in my favor. And what I'm doing right now as well is using my vulnerabilities as in my favor and using my strong accent in my favor, putting some jokes in there and open the conversation with that. Australia is multicultural, and right now, maybe 10 years ago, wasn't that bad, but right now much better. People are more aware about that, more different accents and everything. But yes, it was a challenge for me. I never changed my name, in never. I don't want to do it. But right now, yeah, I'm happy. For example, if I'm going to the coffee, I always say Jairo because it's easy for them. But if they want to open a conversation, I explain them that is actually is Jairo or Jairo, and I use that in my favor right now. But again, I'm going to the point that is confidence. Right now I have the confidence to speak with the people about it. Maybe before it was, I'm Jairo.
What
What I'm
I
going
do
to
is
do
my
with my
turn.
name. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good point, Sema, and I know that is a lot of recommendations. I don't know what to recommend to the people. I believe myself and my gut is saying no. I will continue with my name. I will never recommend that. Never do it. But if some people want to do it and feel that this is the right decision to take, try it. But yeah,
It's up to everyone to decide, right? Like, or each person to decide about what they want to do with their name. So I don't recommend. What I normally say is what I have applied to myself. My name, people when they read, they cannot pronounce, right? Because it's a long name. And I have five names as a good South American, five name and surnames. So I have
yes,
like shorten this to two names. And my first name is Iracema. And the way you write is the way you say in Portuguese, all the letters. But the thing is, in Australia, I have been called by many things, Iracema or Irachima and everything. And I said, and back home, I had my nickname that was Sema, right? Or Semita. And so even my email is Semita. It's much easier. But many people think that sometimes it's Italian and they call me Kema. But it's much easier when they read my name as Sema to risk themselves to say my name instead of Irasema. They never say. They get, oh my goodness. So normally I say to my mentees, the only people that have my full name written is the migration and the banks. That's it, right? So in Australia, you have this beauty of a choice that you can choose your name to be called by. So even the forms you have this, so you know by any other name. But what I suggest to people is get a short name from version of your own name and make
yes,
something that is sound like you, because when people call you, they're calling you. When you like imagine I calling you James, you not be looking at me when I say hey James, you'll be like, who is James in this room, right? So it's not you,
yeah,
it's personalized someone else. So find a ground point for you that is your name there. You take out from your name, from the surname or any part of your name, and make a nickname, and then it's you instead of
yeah.
creating something that is not you, right?
No,
So
definitely, definitely. And at that point, I just use Jairo Ramirez. I don't use my second last name. just as you say in the papers, but I use normally Jairo Ramirez because yeah, it's easy for the Australians to understand.
And also, if it's a problem for a company to hire you because of your name, do you want to really work for the company that doesn't your name be your name? So it's something that
No, definitely it wasn't never a problem. So no, no, no. Even for us, is not that difficult. We in Australia living a lot of people with background from Asia, and they really have different alphabet and different way to write the names. And this is another story. But for us, no, I never find that a problem. It's more for the beginning, and it is it used to be recommended. Because of the yeah, you don't sound, if you send the resume, your name doesn't sound
is
like
happening, Jairo.
people from Australia. So mate, even if they call me and they at the beginning that they start talking, they know that I'm not from Australia because my
That's
accent is
right.
Brazilian. So
That's
what
right.
is the
That's
yeah,
the
what is the
point,
reason
right?
I James and I start, hey my friend, how are you? With my accent. So definitely they will know, no, you are not a proper James.
Yeah, that's right. So it's like there is no congruency in there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So, Jairo, you also mentioned at the beginning that you are a Colombian, a very patriot Colombian. So you like dancing, you like the culture, and of course the food. And tell me, what is your favorite food from Colombia or from your childhood? Then when you think about, you just like, it's childhood, or this is Colombia.
Favorite food?
Yes.
Definitely. Um, this is like a soup that my mom just does. So it's in my hometown. That is a soup with it's pretty simple. It's called caldo de papa,
Oh,
and
the
it's
papa.
yeah, it's potatoes
Potato
and
soup.
soup, and we got that as a breakfast. So with arepa.
With
So for
arepitas.
me, that smell to that caldo and the arepa means my mom. So it's even though Colombia is like my home, and every time I go to Colombia, this is the best, the first dish that my mom does for me. So because she knows how important is that for me, and yeah, that's my favorite food. However, I can talk about, I love the arepas, I love the empanadas, I
Empanadas.
love of the deep fried also on the street food that we have.
Yeah.
And yeah, bandeja paisa, lechona is a lot of great food that we have in Colombia.
Yes, and nowadays, the South American, or from everywhere, but especially South America in the last, let's say, 10 years, the food from South America has been more present in Australia.
Yeah,
You have a lot
yeah,
of butchers, you have the little stores with all the products that we have in South America. And it has been great because all the knowledge that we are sharing now, the experiences, we can have anywhere. So it's sometimes just feeling why I want to eat that thing, and then you go to a little store and buy it, and yeah, it's like home. So I just came back from
yeah,
Brazil, and that experience of tasting something that is so like childhood. So
yeah.
like, seeing the fruits and the ice creams and everything is, it's just like being a child again.
Definitely, definitely, definitely.
Yes. So, Jairo, thank you very much for sharing your life career journey with us. And I'm sure many people will relate to your story and your wife's story as well. Having been in this country and going through so many ups and downs and getting the dream done, right? So it's not the dream, achieving the dream and nothing else comes after, is achieving and continuing doing more and achieving more, because the dream was you stay here having a job, but now you have a family, you have the life that you are enjoying, is tiring with a little one, but having something that you make yourself proud of, going through all what you went through with your wife, and now having this little one to become part of this new country.
No, thank you very much, Sema. It's a pleasure for me. And I share the passion that you have. But obviously, your passion is great, and I really appreciate all the work, the hard work that you do for the newcomers, and for the community that coming overseas and looking for help. And really appreciate all the work you do, and really admire you, and thank you for inviting me. I'm more than happy, and always be more than happy to support and to put something of help in people that maybe are in the same situation uh, that I was when I came to Australia. So, thank you very much. I was happy to be here with you and to have this awesome conversation.
Wonderful. And for you there, thank you very much for watching our episode here. And remember to subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and see you next. Bye bye.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Bye.